Welcome to the International Future of Law Association webinar on enhancing access to justice with AI. Today we have libra.law Knowledge Marketplace and two speakers, both named Paul. We have Paul Massey, who is the founder and CEO of the legal technology company Tabled Technologies, the company behind the Libra AI legal platform. Paul was previously an in-house lawyer with experience including leading commercial legal work for eBay and building the legal and compliance team of CrowdCube, the FCA-regulated crowdfunding platform. And Paul McKeown, who is a professor of legal education and solicitor at Northumbria University, where his roles have included Director of the Student Law Office and Head of Education. A founding board member of the European Network for Clinical Legal Education, he has served as its president since 2019. His research focuses on clinical legal education and access to justice, including recent work on how technology can support both. He led the Northumbria strand of Project Odyssey, an Innovate UK-funded collaboration developing the Libra AI chatbot to widen access to legal support. So we are delighted to have this presentation. Welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being here, and I will pass over to you now.
Thank you, Abigail. I will share my screen and take you through some of the background to Libra, the motivations to build it, and give you a little demo as well if I can. So thank you for the introduction. Libra has really come out of the work of our legal tech company with university legal clinics, actually. We operate case management systems as well that were used by some legal clinics who had the problem of simply too many clients coming to them for legal support and wanting to use AI to try to solve that challenge, really. And I'll talk through that more, but many people will have seen some of these stats around the access to justice challenges across the UK. So a huge unmet legal need every year of people and businesses who are just simply not enforcing their rights, not aware of their rights. A large number of cases going through courts without legal representation, so huge numbers of litigants in person in the court system, causing problems for those individuals involved as well as the wider justice system. Knocking on to court wait times, which is obviously and some efforts to reduce that and increase the number of courts maybe having an impact. And simply just not seeing enough lawyers to go around. A quote from one of our legal clinic collaborators. People often talk about AI removing the need for a lawyer. We really don't see that at all. We just see there's particularly in the consumer and SME legal space, the demand for in-person support is just more and more all the time. So where Libra comes in is trying to help alleviate some of that, if you like, legal crisis, actually, both for the individuals and businesses involved, as well as the legal system. So Libra itself, as discussed, came out of has been built from a £2.5 million government grant from Innovate UK. It's an AI assistant and what I call a legal marketplace, in that it helps the public and small business solve their issues, but also then qualifies them and refers them on to the law clinics and law firms. And you can see some of the partners that we've been involved with both throughout the grant process on this slide. So particularly Paul at Northumbria, who you'll hear from shortly, but also Swansea University, Keele University, and then we have partnered with a number of legal data sources as well. So the National Archives, for example, it has been a key partner throughout building this platform. Initially, the platform focused on family law, housing, and consumer legal issues, and some SME law issues. But we've actually really broadened it out, taking data from across the the legal domains to really create a one-stop shop for consumer and small business legal issues using AI to power that. We've been lucky enough to work closely with LawWorks recently, bringing in a whole host of legal clinics and pro bono partners into our law firm directory to basically help the market. Going on to the next slide. So just breaking down what Libra actually does. It is very much an AI legal knowledge tool. So as I showed you, there are a lot of different legal data sources that have been aggregated. The funding allowed us to build a legal knowledge team who've really built a ground up cross legal domain resource for the AI to be referencing and trained on. So the platform really breaks down into three key pillars. You've got that AI legal assistant with a plain English chatbot for the public and small business, and then a full legal research version for professionals who are using the tool and are involved in the marketplace. Part of that legal assistant is also powered by legal resources. So we have a lot of contract templates within our resources, lots of information, and a huge amount of links to government forms, processes, and procedures as well to inform the AI, to really try to improve the accuracy of the AI. And then, as I say, that third pillar is are the legal providers. So pro bono legal clinics accessing the tool for free largely, and helping us to distribute it. 'Cause obviously, getting the word out there is a huge need. And then also law firms involved as well, because of course law firms need client referrals. They also need legal knowledge tools. So we're really trying to create that ecosystem of legal data and knowledge, make that available to the right people at the right time, 24/7. But when they need in-person support, they can be referred through to the right support for that right user. So it's really this kind of circular loop of that we're trying to drive with the system. The AI knowledge tool can drive efficiency in the platform, better knowledge access, greater revenue for law firms, but also easing the burden on legal clinics. The access users, who we call are essentially public and SME users, as I say, have much more simplified legal answers. So it's very much in line with the guidance from the judicial system in terms of ensuring that for example, case law is not hallucinated by the system. And then those users are referred on to the professional users in the system. It's very much an agentic AI stack. So agents are carrying out multiple tasks within the system from the knowledge research. So whether that's finding key cases or just taking you through an entire case strategy, through to agents for calculating damages, so calculator agents, or calculating the financial remedies in a divorce, through to agents doing the actual client qualification and referral on, so that we get this virtuous circle, if you like, working right, so that the right clients are referred to the right legal support. And because referrals is a big issue for the clinics, with members of the public not knowing where to turn, perhaps finding a legal clinic, approaching them with legal issues that clinic doesn't actually support, that then them being having to refer it on to another support provider. And you see this bounce around different legal support agencies in the access to justice space that we're really trying to support by qualifying that particular user's case and referring them onto the right point of support at the right time. And as I say, it's working across all areas of law. We've built really a huge data set now, from family law to consumer issues and SME business law, right the way through to high volume areas like parking tickets. We have a template will in the system, so the AI will support you drafting your will But of course, that's a typical area where there might be very simple standard wills available for for those non-complex situations, but you quite quickly see a point in that drafting that professional support is really needed. So the tool bridges that and can refer you on to a wills and probate practitioner at the right time. And all the way down to quite specialist areas like special educational needs law. We've worked with firms on personal injury, looking at the way those are calculated and actually licensed in content from Oxford University Press to achieve that, to achieve different damages calculations using AI with higher accuracy. We've got a lot of FCA data in the system for financial claims, employment tribunal data for employment law, for example. And we're very keen that it's a neutral platform that's available to all. So it might well be used by both a landlord and a tenant in a housing law issue. It's very much access to justice, but at the same time a neutral technology, giving access to that data to whoever needs it, whether that's somebody with a special educational needs problem for their family, or whether it's a high net worth individual going through a divorce process that wants to self-serve on elements of that. We really want to serve that market. A couple of product examples here, and I'll take you through how this works live in a second as well. But you can see here on the left, you've got the agentic AI providing recommended support in a certain legal issue. The agents supporting research are actually bringing up references from relevant case law from our partners at the National Archives. And then another feature there is the document library, where both the professional users can store folders for client work and share secure private folders with their clients as well. But again, that's also open to the individual public users to store their key documents, so that you've really got those always turned on against upcoming changes in law. If there's a change in inheritance tax law that might affect your will over time, the system would be able to keep monitoring that and notify you of those changes. That's just one of the examples that we're looking at. If I just switch over to the platform itself, I can show you just a little insight into to the way the tool works. So this is our homepage. You can see we're trying to make it easy for people to actually prompt the system to know how to ask the system about different legal areas. This then can actually pop up an embedded version of the tool, which will, in due course, can actually be embedded within our partners' websites as well. So we're speaking to a number of the law clinics about this. But also in time, law firms would be able to actually embed this sort of support in their system and then channel the right clients through to their intake as and when they need it. And then just jumping to the actual system itself. So you can see here, I've got a couple of queries set up already. Here, a company law issue. Now we've got what we call a fact-finding agent built into the system, so that the AI is actually trying to understand enough context about a legal problem before just jumping to an answer, because of course lawyers will often really want to ask a lot of questions and understand the context in the situation before they jump to conclusions, because context just makes so much difference to the accuracy and the legal solution. So you can see here it's asking questions about the director's situation in a director removal situation, getting some more information, and then actually talking about the rights of that director to go through different claims, an unfair prejudice claim, for example, and pulling up some case law directly from the source, so from Find Case Law in this case, in terms of relevant cases for that situation. Now, as I said, this is a professional workspace, so it is providing those cases on the public facing side. We're limiting that because, of course, the public don't necessarily have that ability to interrogate the case law. I mean, we actually think over time that government guidance may change as the accuracy becomes improved over time through systems like Libra. That means actually, well, why shouldn't the public be able to find their own case law through services like this? But we know through all the court cases out there that the public using the systems like ChatGPT is producing a lot of hallucinated cases, and so we can totally understand that guidance at this point. Libra won't make up a case because all the cases are coming from our recognized data sets. But we're still working on making sure it gives you the best case in every situation, the most relevant cases, or just allows you to browse through multiple different cases in your situation. And actually, our knowledge team has done a lot of work on pulling out the leading landmark cases across lots of different legal areas to actually achieve that. So I think very much our ethos is always expert feedback into the AI is still absolutely key to improve accuracy, and yeah, that follows through to our entire model of making sure that the clients using the tool are referred through to the right lawyer. You can see, just show you a little bit more around the system if I can. And apologies, my internet is not the best today. Can you hear me all right? Just to check. Does seem so. Okay. Sorry, I'm not actually able to. Here we go. Okay, we're moving around now. Just a bit slow on the internet. So here's a different situation, a divorce situation where, again, you can see those fact-finding questions coming through in the system to get the right context. And here I just want to show you how the service would take you through that typical divorce process, but then actually assess that it is a complex issue that requires support, and then would refer you through to the support that we have in our directory, whether that's a legal clinic in this case or a firm of solicitors. And you can see then how the system works if I'm actually getting enough internet. But essentially, the firms and clinics have their own profiles, which they can show their legal disciplines and offices, and we match people based on where they're located, the legal areas that they're looking at, and essentially the type of claim that they have. Okay, I'm going to leave that and just move back. You can see there one of the profiles showing the different offices of a law firm. I won't go around the website more now, given that my internet's not the best. So just going back to the presentation. So actually, this is some of the clinic input from during the development. And Paul at Northumbria, if you want to jump in at this point and maybe just talk through some of your involvement and what you've seen throughout that testing.
Yes, thanks, Paul. So just as Abby introduced, I've been involved in clinical legal education access to justice for many years now, both within my career as a solicitor and now as in my career as an academic. And part of the issue is we've been talking around access to justice and solutions to the access to justice problem. But the reality is there is just more need than there is resource to deal with that need. What's happened in the last 2 to 3 years is I think AI has presented a potential solution, at least a significant solution to the access to justice problem. However, as we are aware, not a week seems to go by where there isn't some case reported of an hallucinated submission being presented to the court or litigants using AI unreliably. So it's been a pleasure to work on the Libra project and contribute to trying to assist an AI-driven chatbot that can actually assist litigants in a reliable way. And frankly, it has been a journey. And I think Paul Massey can testify to that sentiment. I think what I'm going to do is just present some observations of that journey and how we have dealt with some of the issues that have been thrown up throughout the development of the Libra AI chatbot. So first and foremost is that the chatbot actually is broadly accurate. It's been tested by myself and numerous other legal professionals, and the results are broadly accurate. I think there's been no instances of hallucinated cases, and that's probably largely due to the data source that it draws upon, being the National Archives. However, there has been other issues. So, for example, when it's been looking at cases, perhaps it's thrown out a case that has subsequently been appealed. So we've learned on this journey that we need to make sure that the chatbot is actually drawing upon the most up-to-date law rather than historic law. But I think the key thing is that it compares very favourably to general AI tools such as ChatGPT. The next point is that often people are looking for practical solutions to their problem. They don't just want to know about the law, they want to know how to actually deal with that. So part of what we've been looking at is it's great to know the legislation, the case law that applies to your case, but often what people want is how to actually deal with this. And this is, again, something that has been developed within the chatbot, is that it will draw upon practical guidance. And an example is looking at pre-action protocols, which obviously the court expect you to comply with before you initiate court proceedings. But also other solutions such as alternative dispute resolution, mediation, arbitration, etc. So hopefully what the chatbot can do is guide people potentially away from the court system into alternative means of resolving their disputes. I think one of the key aspects of the system, and I think the most valued feature, is its triage capability. So in terms of law clinics, advice agencies, etc., they are often deluged with inquiries from people with potential legal problems, and there's a significant amount of resource that has to go into sorting out those inquiries and establishing whether people have arguable cases or not. So what the system can do is assist with this triage function, and hopefully that will assist in utilising the resources that law clinics and advice agencies have in a more efficient manner. People can use the system. It can quickly diagnose whether someone has a potential claim or not, or a potential issue that can be resolved, and then it can divert them to the most appropriate source of assistance. So, for example, if someone looks like they would qualify for legal aid, then the system can divert them off to an appropriate solicitor who can assist with the case under legal aid. If the system identifies that the person's not qualifying for legal aid, then it can divert them off to an appropriate source of assistance and stop what is called referral fatigue, where people are wandering around various organisations looking for assistance and then give up because no one can seemingly assist. Hopefully, with the Libra chatbot, then people will be diverted straight into the organisation, which can actually help them resolve their problem. The next point is around confidence calibration. I think my experience, certainly with AI, is it's a people pleaser. It wants to tell you that you are fantastic, that you've got a brilliant case. And again, this is something that we've fed back through the testing process to tabled. And something that has been addressed is that often the system was initially telling you that you had a great case without actually having full details. And through that demonstration that Paul's done, those prompts, those extra questions, interrogating the factual background of the case is assisting in the confidence calibration exercise, so people get a more measured response to their inquiry. Unsurprisingly, the system has a different value depending upon the type of user. And I think where it's been most valued is with users with limited or no experience of the legal system. From look interviews, etc., very experienced solicitors found it of limited value, but that's often, I think, because they were testing it with areas of law that they were very familiar with. Where the system has been very valuable is with lay users and with novice users. So people that are perhaps unfamiliar with an area of law, it's easier to check the answer, I guess, than to find the answer yourself. So when the system is giving you the relevant legislation, relevant cases, then what this allows the novice user to do is it points them in the right direction. It gives them the knowledge of where they need to look in relation to that legal problem. Because it is then referring people to the source of that information. So as Paul demonstrated, you can bring up the relevant judgment or case law that the system is relying upon. This addresses the issue of people just relying on the system giving an answer and accepting that. It's pointing you in the right direction, and the user can then go to the relevant piece of legislation or case law and check that actually what the system is saying is correct. And I think that is one of the features that certainly the courts have highlighted, that there's nothing wrong per se with using AI to assist you in your legal dispute, but ultimately as a lawyer, then you have to take responsibility for the what you are producing to the court. So it's a tool, it's an assistant, as the name suggests. Finally, I think the system is aligning with judicial expectations. So the courts have previously said that what they want is AI systems that are drawing upon reliable authority, that they aren't just scraping the internet, scraping random websites. Is the information that the AI is relying upon is from a reliable source. And in particular, the National Archives has been cited as a reliable source of information, and that's largely where the Libra chatbot is being trained, holding the legislation and case law within the UK. So therefore, it is a reliable source. I have actually just noticed that the Lady Chief Justice, Baroness Carr, has commented to the Constitution Committee in Parliament how actually judges are finding it useful that litigants in person are using AI, that they're getting documents that are more coherent. However, that still doesn't detract from the fact that even with more coherent documents, they still have to be reliable. So hopefully the Libra chatbot will address that. So I'll pass back to Paul Massey.
Thank you, Paul. And yes, I mean it's been absolutely invaluable working with yourself and all the other practitioners during the development to iron out and continue to iron out all these issues. I think that's one thing that we are very conscious of, is that it's an ongoing project of improving the accuracy over time. Just a few other points here to talk about in terms of really why Libra, why is it needed? Is it going to be sustainable? Because as I said, we're not charging the clinics for the tool, or certainly not many of the clinics, given the budget constraints. So we do need the law firms involved. And we see a big gap in the market for affordable AI for middle market and the long tail of smaller law firms in the UK and all the other providers out there. The available solutions have been very targeted at big law firms, or simply just creating solutions that are all feeding into a single firm, rather than being tools that the whole market can use and deploy to improve, both their own bottom line, but also the client experience. So further, why Libra? So the public AI that we've talked about, it is being used en masse. And firms and courts are certainly grappling with this. You've got firms facing more complicated instructions coming in and expectations and communications because clients are using public-facing AI tools that may not be accurate. Firms are facing clients' complaints and even claims that have been formulated using AI after the event. So it's certainly making both courts and lawyers' lives difficult when public tools are being used. And then you've got what we think is potentially the biggest issue is actually the lack of privacy, the lack of confidentiality of the publicly available tools. Libra is built to be completely private and confidential. We do not want the system to have any impact on legal privilege, for example. If a client has put all of their legal advice and legal documents into publicly available versions of the major AI tools out there, there have been judgments to show that legal privilege is impacted or even lost completely in those situations. So we're building tools to try to help firms to manage that with their clients. So, for example, sharing those folders of documents through to their clients, so the clients can use AI. You've got to expect that clients will be using AI, but at least the firms know that the AI environment that those clients are in is confidential and should not should not be undermining privilege. As I've said, it all comes back to accuracy as well. Further problems from hallucinated cases from public AI that we really want to start to reduce that, to improve the value of the research that can be done both by lawyers, because we know that lawyers are being impacted by this and being held to account by judges, but also for the public. So I mentioned that next bullet point around encouraging firms being able to encourage clients to use private AI and actually giving them a solution to do that rather than just relying on the client to know what to do. And then in terms of the market that we're filling here, why we can make this sustainable, of course, clinics have this issue with referral fatigue, too many clients. Law firms want more clients, and they are paying a huge amount for referrals. And we think we can really actually change that model in a real access to justice sense, not in a let's call it ambulance chasing sense, just giving a really useful legal knowledge tool to the UK market out there that then really does feed qualified referrals to those firms, as well as giving firms a brilliant knowledge tool. I know this is the audience for these webinars are in the knowledge space, and we're very much committed to providing a market leading data set, a legal data set, as well as access to that via legal AI, and doing it in a different way. I think we don't have a huge legal knowledge team, but we've got a different type of knowledge data whereby we pull together the source of that data, make it accessible via AI, rather than having to have hundreds of knowledge managers writing lots of different advice notes when lawyers of the future need to get to the right information really quickly rather than reading these long knowledge notes. So that's really our ethos and how we can scale up the knowledge to everybody. And of course, given we're UK based, we work very closely with obviously Paul and other clinics, but also law firms on improving the accuracy, making sure we've got the right data across legal domains. So I think we're really well placed to partner with firms there. Um, and just a little bit more here on some of the background of how the system works. So we use retrieval augmented generation, so RAG, which you may have heard of, and AI agents, taking that data from trusted sources to reduce the hallucinations. And the data sets that we use to really maximize the effectiveness of that data retrieval. It is complicated. A lot of data annotation, a lot of indexing of documents. We have multiple layers of legal data in the system that is both set out on a temporal basis and a spatial basis. So actually, we've had some legal domains that have really helped with that. So we've actually won some funding in the planning space, for example, where the legal implementation, if you like, is done all on a local authority level. So we really go from that national view down to the different jurisdictions in the UK of England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, through all the way to local authority levels where maybe special educational needs, homelessness, planning, all the implementation of that is, or much of it is at a local authority level. So we really understand that. Um, as I said, privacy, security is key. We've become ISO 27001 certified, GDPR compliant, etc. And so that's just, that's taken as a given in this space, but yeah, we take it really seriously as well. So I think that's it really. Yeah. I mean, the ask today is to please do reach out. We'd love to work with more clinics, more law firms, really understanding the needs of firms, and we're very much here to collaborate to make AI work for the entire market. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you both so much for a really interesting presentation. We're going to turn off the recording.